We've driven the Lucid Air plenty of times at this point. While they're great, they're also pricey, like 6 figures pricey. But if you're patient and don't mind losing out on a glass roof, the automaker has 2 new trim levels, with one starting below $90,000. And here it is, the entire Lucid Air lineup. We have the Sapphire, we have the Grand Touring Performance, we have the Grand Touring, and of course the 2 we are here to talk about, the Touring and the Pure model. First off, we have the Lucid Air Pure. This is the entry level, or as Lucid likes to call it, the most accessible version of the Lucid Air. It starts at $87,400. It is the first and only Lucid Air available for under $100,000. And while that's still a lot of money, it probably will be the highest selling Lucid just for the price point. And it comes with something a little bit different than the other Lucids we've driven. It has a metal roof. If you're concerned that you're paying less than $100,000 for a Lucid Air, you're not going to have range, well, don't be. This vehicle has an EPA target range of 410 miles, which should be enough to get, well, most places you want to go. It has 480 horsepower, which of course is less than the rest of the lineup, but it should be completely fine for literally everything you're doing in your life. DC fast charging, it supports up to 250 kilowatts. The battery pack is a 93 kilowatt hour pack. Because it is a smaller pack, they still have the 900 volt architecture wiring in this vehicle, but the vehicle only has 756 volts. Don't worry about it. It has to do with a lot of math. All that matters is that you can DC fast charge at 250 kilowatts. The biggest thing you might notice when you get into this vehicle, besides the metal roof, is the changes in the materials. This is fake leather. It's pure luxe. It's a faux leather, but it actually still feels nice. They have this fabric in here, which is a recycled fabric, and you still get some wood grain. So between the 3 materials, you have this nice accent of materials, so you don't feel like you're getting something that's below a luxury vehicle. You're still getting a luxury vehicle interior. It's just different materials. The front seats are still comfortable. You still have a lot of head and leg room. But the real benefit of that 93 kilowatt hour capacity battery pack is in the back seat. So if you're curious what that 93 kilowatt hour pack has to do with sitting in the back seat, well, because the pack is smaller, you now have this extended footwell. It actually goes deeper. And because it's deeper, you don't have your feet like this, so it's more comfortable. And because you have this deeper footwell, the angle of this seat is less like this and more like this. So it turns out sitting in the back of the Pure is a bit more comfortable than, say, sitting in the more expensive Grand Touring. The all-wheel drive version of the Lucid Air Pure will be the first to market, and it'll be available by the end of this year. Meanwhile, there is a rear-wheel drive version of the Lucid Air Pure that's coming to market, and it will be available sometime next year. Reservations are open for either model, so if you're looking to reserve yourself a Lucid Air Pure, you can do so right now. Moving up the line from the Pure to the Touring, like the Pure, the Touring comes standard with a metal roof, but it can be outfitted with the glass canopy. Now, this vehicle also has been outfitted with some roof racks and this storage case on top in case, I don't know, you're going somewhere and the giant frunk and the giant trunk just aren't enough storage for you. While we don't have the opportunity to get behind the wheel of the Pure, we do have a chance to drive a pre-production version of the Touring. So let's jump right in. We are here in the Lucid Air Touring, not the Grand Touring, not the Grand Touring Performance. This is just the Touring. It's the second from the bottom, I guess you would want to say. It's not quite the entry level, but it's not quite the Grand Touring level. This is a pre-production vehicle, so it's not 100% what they're going to be selling to customers. But I will say, just behind the wheel for a few minutes, it feels like a Lucid Air. The steering is nice, tight, and smooth. The suspension is nice, and of course it has that. It still has the power when you want it. It doesn't have Dream Drive Pro standard. You can't add that on there, but it does come standard with a LiDAR. So you're still getting that extra bit of sensor fusion when you're driving down the road, and you are using the driver's assistance system, which is just the regular Dream Drive. The infotainment system it's the same infotainment system we saw recently. It is a little slow sometimes when you're loading some of the apps, but that's to be expected. Again, pre-production vehicle, they've warned us that would be an issue, but you still get to do fun things like this. Lucid hasn't added any buttons, physical buttons to this vehicle. All the trim lines have the exact same amount of buttons. So you can still adjust your temperature and your fans here. And on the steering wheel, you have some media controls, and of course you have your driver's assistance controls over here, and the ability to open up the frunk over here on the left. The interior in the Touring is a little bit better than what we found in the Pure. For example, this little sliding door is actually wood instead of fabric, and also you get Nappa leather in this vehicle in addition to that Pure Luxe. So you have Nappa leather here and then Pure Luxe here, plus you have the wood grain and that recycled fabric. Plus, like the Pure, this vehicle will charge at 250 kilowatts at a compatible DC fast charging station. So no matter which Lucid Air you buy, your DC fast charging will actually be fast. The Touring starts at $107,400, so it's not exactly cheap, but it is over $46,000 cheaper than the Grand Touring. So you are saving, well, essentially a Honda Accord worth of value. That said, it doesn't have as much horsepower. This has just a paltry 620 horsepower, which, but you can still do this. I mean, come on. It has 425 miles of range. That is their EPA target. So you're still going to get a ton of range, a lot of horsepower, and really most of the luxury you would get from the Grand Touring, but you're saving nearly $50,000. So the Lucid Air Touring is being delivered, well, right now. They're actually delivering these right now and building them in the factory. The Lucid Air Pure, they're still working on that, but they'll be built and delivered by the end of the year, according to the company. For more automotive coverage next to wildly less expensive Lucid Airs, be sure to subscribe to Engadget.